In this video, we are going to graph linear equations written in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. At the end of this video, you should be able to figure out what do m and b stand for in a linear equation written in slope-intercept form, and you should be able to graph linear equation by using the b value and the m value. We have a word problem over here. Let's use this word problem to graph a linear equation. Ian is trying to save some money. Ian starts with $100. So he starts with $100 in his savings account and adds $20 each week. The equation below models Ian's savings. Y equals 20x plus 100. Where y is the amount of savings and x is the number of weeks. So this equation, y equals 20x plus 100, is a linear equation in slope-intercept form because the y is by itself on the left side. And you have an x term and you have a constant. So that's what a linear equation in slope-intercept form looks like. The number by itself, the constant, that's your initial value. If you go back here in the word problem, it says here Ian starts with $100 in his savings account. So he's starting off with $100. And then the number in front of x, in this case it's 20. So in this context, this is $20 per week, per 1 week. That m, we know that's a slope. Okay, and we know slope is rise over run. So the top number is a vertical movement, either up or down, and then the bottom number is a horizontal movement, left to right. So let's use this information to graph the equation over here. So the horizontal axis is the number of weeks, the vertical is the dollar, the savings in terms of dollars. So at 0 week, he has $100 because he started off with $100, right? Let's see it right here. So this is x, this is y. X is the number of weeks, and y is the dollar. At 0 week, Ian has $100. After 1 week, since he's saving $20 each week, after a week, he's gonna have $120. So after 1 week, $120. So Ian will gain $20. You can see one box here is $10. So we have to go up 2 and then 1 to the right. So we did up 20 and then 1 to the right. 20 up because he's making $20 per 1 week. After 2 weeks, he's gonna have $140 because we're gonna add 20 again. So from here, we're gonna add 20 again. So we're gonna go up 20 over 1 week. And then after 3 weeks, we're gonna go add 20 again, up 20 over 1. So he's gonna have $160. Again, from here, you're gonna add $20 per 1 week. And then that's 4th week. So 160 plus 20 is 180. And you can see 4th week, he's gonna have $180. And then from there again, he's gonna make $20 per week. So at the 5th week, he's gonna have $200. So all these points here, those points correspond to the number of weeks and the amount he had saved for that particular week. So once you're done plotting the points, just draw a little, connect those points and extend it. So this This is the graph of this equation, y equals 20x plus b. So what we did was we started with an initial amount that's going to be on the y-axis. You start there, that's your b value. So b, begin. We use the letter b to remind you that you are going to begin at the b value on the y-axis. So you can say begin at b value on the y-axis because that's your initial amount. 0 weeks, you have that money already, so that's why you begin there. And then we're going to move to the next point. Move to next point. That little m reminds you that you're gonna move using the slope, the number in front of x. In this case, we moved 20 up, 1 to the right, because our slope is 20 over 1. And then once you have your points, you're just going to connect the points and extend it. Okay, let's have another example. This one is not in word problem context, but you will still apply the same steps in graphing your linear equation. First, check, is this equation in the form y equals mx plus b? So let's match it. Y equals negative 4x minus 1. So since y is by itself, that means this is in slope-intercept form. And then you're gonna begin at the b value. So you're gonna begin. B is your b value. What's the b value? The b value is the number by itself here. So your b value is negative 1. Okay, be careful here. This is negative 1, not positive 1, because this is subtraction. So this is the same as negative 4x plus negative 1. So every time you have a minus a constant, your b value will be negative 1. Okay, so you're going to plot your first point on the y-axis at the b value. So right here, negative 1. And then you're going to move. How are you going to move? By looking at the number in front of x. This is your slope right there. So this is negative 4. But remember, you have to write this in fraction form. So it's going to be negative 4 over 1. Every time you just have if your m is not in fraction form, you have to change this in fraction form by putting over 1. Because when you divide this, negative 4 divided by 1, that's the same as negative 4. So they are equivalent. They have equivalent values. So you're not changing it. You're just rewriting it. We need to write it in fraction form because the top number will tell you how to move up or down. Since this is negative 4, that means you're going to go down 4. And this is positive 1, so you're going to go 1 right. So from your starting point, you're going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. There's no grid over here. So let me show you a way to manipulate this fraction. Negative 4 over 1 is the same as 4 over negative 1. Because when you divide this, you will get negative 4. Same thing, when you divide this, you're going to get negative 4. Because 4 divided by negative 1 is negative 4. So these two are the same thing. So instead of me going down 4, I can actually go up 4 and 1 left. So up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 left. Those are your 2 points. You can connect those points and that will be your line. There. That's the graph of the equation y equals negative 4x minus 1. Okay, Let's look at another one. Okay, so the first thing again you do, check is your equation written in y equals mx plus b form. Go write it underneath, y equals x. So you match it. Oh, yeah, this is in slope-intercept form because y is by itself. So y is by itself. Now you just have to figure out what is your b value, where you will begin. And what is your m value, how we're going to move. So the b value is supposed to be the number by itself here being added to the x term. But there's nothing here. When there's nothing, that means you're adding 0. Okay? So the b value is 0. That means on the y-axis, you're going to plot a point at 0. That's your starting point. And then you're going to move by using your slope, the number in front of x. This one, there's no number in front of x. When there's no number in front of your variable, there's an invisible 1 there. Because 1 times x is the same as x. So we know there's a 1 there. Okay? So your slope is 1, but remember, we have to write it in fraction form. So we're going to put over 1. So that means you're going to go up 1 because it's positive, and 1 to the right because it's positive. So from here, you're going to go up 1, 1 to the right. Technically, you really only need 2 points to graph a line, but to be more precise, you can add another point by applying your slope. You can go up 1, 1 to the right. Up 1, 1 to the right. Okay? And then once you have those points, you're just going to connect the points. And that's the graph of the line y equals x. The next one. Again, always start. Ask yourself, is the equation written in y equals mx plus b form? Go write it underneath. Y equals negative x plus 1. Y equals. Okay, that means your equation is written in slope-intercept form. Now, you're going to pull out your b value because that's where you're going to begin. Begin at the b value. So your b value is the constant. So it is 1. So on the y-axis, you're going to plot a point at 1. And then your m tells you how to move. Your m is the number in front of x. Let's see. Well, this one has no number. It's just negative x. But remember, when there's no number in front of coefficient, there's an invisible 1 there. So your slope is actually negative 1. Don't forget to include the negative. So negative 1, again, we have to write this in fraction form. You have to put over 1. So negative 1 on your numerator means you're going to go down 1. And then positive 1 on your denominator, that means you're going to go 1 to the right. So starting here, you're going to go down 1 and 1 to the right. Again, you can add another point by applying 1 down, 1 to the right. Once you have at least 3 points, go ahead and connect those points. So there you go. That's the graph of the equation y equals negative x plus 1. Beginning point is at 1, and then you went down 1, 1, 1 down, 1 to the right. All right. The next one. So again, when you are graphing a linear equation, always ask yourself, is my equation written in the form y equals mx plus b? So let's write this underneath here. Y equals negative 1/3 x plus 3. So let's see. Begin at the b value. Begin. What's our b value? The b value is the number by itself. So in this case, it's 3. So that means on the y-axis, we're going to plot a point at 3. That's where you will begin. And then you're going to move to the next point. We move by looking at the slope, the number in front of x, the coefficient of x. This one says negative and then 1 over 3. Then you're going to ask yourself, wait a second, this negative is right in the middle. Where do I put that negative? Well, you can either put the negative on your numerator, like negative 1 over 3, or you can put the negative on your denominator, like 1 over negative 3. Remember, you can only have one negative, because if you put two negatives, like negative 1 over negative 3, that will become positive 1/3. And that's not equal to what we have. We have negative 1/3. That's why this is not correct. Okay? Remember that when you have one negative right in the middle, you can move that negative either on the top or at the bottom, but you must have just one negative. Okay? So let's say I'm going to use this one. I'm going to say down 1 and then 3 to the right. So from my starting point, my b value, I'm going to go down 1 and then 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. There. Those are my 2 points. And then I can apply another point here if I do 1 up and 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. Remember, these two are the same thing. So you can do that. Once you have your points, go ahead and connect the points. So there you go. That's the graph of the equation y equals negative 1/3 x plus 3. As you can see, graphing a linear equation is not bad once you have it written in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Because all you have to do is to pull out the b value and you start at that value on your y-axis. That's your first point. And then you're going to move to your second point by looking at the slope, the number in front of x. That has to be in fraction form because the numerator will be a vertical movement, the denominator is a horizontal movement. Once you have your points, connect the points, there is your line for your linear equation. Okay, I hope you find this video helpful.